All right, we are live now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Our Two Cents. I am your host, Tom Sellers. Most of you are used to seeing my partner, Frank Hostica. He has some things going on. He's actually in the process of selling his house, and he's got some people looking at it. Those of you who are from Illinois know that you can go and look at somebody's house, but they can't be there when you do it. So we'll catch up with him. He may jump on a little bit later on. But in the meantime, I am very excited about this show, and I'm going to get into why in just a second. But please help me welcome one of the people who works in my organization and is a rock star, and that is Michelle Moyer. I'm going to get with Michelle here shortly and have her tell us about what she's doing. The last week we talked to somebody else from the TW3 platform. You guys know that I'm very active with that. And he talked about how he was going about reselling the program as well as using it as an aid to generate leads for his music business. Tonight, we're going to talk with Michelle Moyer. Michelle's been with us since February, I want to say. And since February, I go in on occasion and, if she has something that needs fixing or has a question about a log, and I'm like, holy cow, in like a week, there were like 700 leads for one of her businesses. I'm like, she's using this for her business. She's not focusing on reselling it, and you don't have to unless you want to. So without going and telling her whole story, I'm going to let her tell the story. So Michelle, welcome to Our Two Cents. Please tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. And Tom, thank you so much for having me. It's actually a very big honor to even be asked to do this. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate being able to come on and talk to everybody in your network. So a little bit about me. I have an insurance agency. I also have a real estate investment company. And I also found myself recently in a situation where I'm able to broker deals, mainly on the business side and on the real estate investment side. And that company that I'm working with is a company that can service both ends. But I also found myself connecting with other brokers in the industry. And so now, instead of having to go to someone to broker my deals for real estate investment, I can actually, do it on my own rather than having to go to someone else. And so I found myself in a unique position where they were asking for help recruiting. And so that's what I've been using TW3 for the most lately. But I do use it in my real estate investment company, and I use it a lot in the insurance agency. So, that's basically a little bit about, me and the companies that I own and, how I use the service.
Okay. So backing up just a hair, and I know I didn't put this on the outline, but I'm interested, as I'm sure the audience is.
Sure.
How did you get started in all these things that you're doing with insurance and real estate brokering? I mean, you got a lot of things going on there, a lot of moving parts.
I do. And, it's so funny. I just moved into a brand new house in South Carolina. My mom was here helping me. And my mom is a hustler from way back. And so we were discussing how we get involved in what we get involved in. And it's just basically out of wanting to do more and be involved in things and make money and be able to help people at the same time. She's in real estate. So that's what she's been doing the past 30 years is real estate. So she helps people all the time. My background and the way that I've been brought up is you need to help other people. And I was living in California and I met my husband, and he's in the military, and he was getting transferred to Jacksonville, Florida. And, I'm a chef by trade. So there's another part of me that people don't know about. but I found myself in a position where I was working on food shows in Los Angeles. So I was a culinary producer, and going to Jacksonville, Florida, there's no shows to work on. So either I traveled back to LA to work on shows, or I had to find a different profession to be in. And I went through a really, a life situation that put me into a place where I just said, you know what, I need to find something that I can do that's actually helping other people. And I found myself being drawn to the insurance world. And that's how I got into the insurance business. So I've been doing that for a little over 2 years now. And I have an agency. It's called the Moyer's Agency. And what I focus on there are life products. So I do annuities, I do IULs, which are index universal life products. I do term products, and I do whole life products.
Okay.
So I also have another product that helps people get out of debt. So with those, it just kind of kept morphing into other things. My husband is now retiring as of June 1st, which is amazing. He also wanted to do something else after his retirement. And so we talked about what we want to do. And we've always been interested in real estate and flipping houses. He's done a couple of houses. I've bought and sold a couple of houses. So he really wanted to start a real estate investment company. So we did that last year, trying to get things in motion so that when he retired, we could continue doing that and he could be more full-time with doing that. That's how our real estate investment company came about. And then when the coronavirus hit, we were just kind of like, well, those two businesses are very front-facing people, meeting people face-to-face. Sitting knee to knee, and we were no longer able to do that anymore. So, we had to try to figure out, number one, what we were going to do, but number two, we were also looking for PPP and EIDL loans to try to help both of the other businesses so that we could have some money to survive.
Sure.
Because I should back up a little bit. Our insurance agency at the time was not doing anything virtual. So we were not able to actually we couldn't write any policies. None of the carriers, and we were working with about 20 different carriers, none of them were allowing us to do anything remotely. So, it was a matter of having to wait for that to switch off and something else to be available for us to do. But before that happened, I was looking for a way to promote the insurance agency and not only recruit someone to make the phone calls for me, but also be able to tap into different markets for the insurance agency so that I could meet new individuals not based on mortgage protection in the Jacksonville area. And that's when I ran across your ad with TW3. And I was like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. I like to know a little bit more about it. And then when I got on the phone with you and I started talking to you about it, I was like, wait, what? I can market my own company and be able to do this all through TW3? And you kind of allowed me to see that, yes, I could. And so my primary reason for, joining TW3 was to not only market the insurance agency, but also market the real estate investment company.
Okay.
But then once we couldn't, like I said, meet people face to face anymore, it all had to be virtual. I ran across a company that was recruiting people to come on as brokers for not only PPP, but EIDL, helping people kind of navigate through the system. And I have a huge network of people, not only with the insurance agency, but also with the real estate investment company. And so what I did is I took TW3, and instead of reselling the platform of TW3, I started recruiting for this company, 11 Capital Finance, to recruit people to come on to help them be a relief funding agent. So basically, they would help businesses get business loans, And they also have a commercial real estate side as well. So you could process those as well through them. But they were looking for someone to come on to recruit people. So that's kind of what I did. I started placing ads with all the experience that I had and had learned through TW3. And, immediately I started getting a lot of response. And it was funny because my husband and I, we set up like this. It was kind of like a production line. I would drag the contacts in, and then he would then send out the emails for me, and then we would have to log them into a CRM in order to keep track of all the people that we were recruiting. So sure. Some days it was like taking us an hour and a half because we were sending out so many emails and so much information just by recruiting off of Craigslist. So, it was pretty amazing.
Very good. And we lost you there for a little bit. So we missed some of the things that you said. So I'm going to go back just a hair. Okay. So you've told us kind of what you've been doing with TW3, but let me go back just a step.
Okay.
Before TW3, how were you marketing your insurance agency and your real estate company?
A couple of different ways, because I was looking to hire a 1099 contractor to make my dials for me so that I would have more time to go meet with clients. I utilized TW3 to place ads on Craigslist to be able to get someone to do my dials for me. So basically I did that. Okay. I also was recruiting people for the agency itself. So I would place ads geared towards people that were already licensed and then people that were unlicensed that were looking to make a lot of money doing insurance. Sure. And so that's how I used TW3, was to market that way. But then I also used TW3 because I was able to buy leads through bulk, like a bulk lead system. So I would go in and say, these are the zip codes that I want to hit. This is the criteria that I would want to.
So you were buying a bulk list.
Yeah, for clients. Yeah.
You bought a list to create leads from.
Yes, exactly. And so you're able to kind of, pick and choose, like demographic, their income level, if they own a house or whatever the case may be. And so, depending on what I was looking to do, I was, that's the kind of list that I would get. Like, I have a product that can help people get out of student loan debt. So student loan debt is a huge thing. So what I did was I kind of focused on, from the age of 23 all the way to age 42, because those people generally have the most student loan debt, depending on, what they went to college for and or whatever. And I started doing bulk texting to them, and then also doing some follow-up emails so that I could get them into our debt-free life program. So I used it a lot of different ways. It's not just one way that you can use all the assets that TW3 has. It took me a little while to learn how to do, web pages and things like that.
I'm going to stop you right there, Michelle. I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to call BS on that one. And here's why. And you know what I'm going to say. When within our first or second training, you already had pages put together. And I remember telling the story, and I think I told it to you as well. When I was going through the training portion of being able to put landing pages together, I'm a 30-year veteran of the car business, so I have a colorful vocabulary at my disposal. But when I was going through that, trying to figure out how to put these landing pages together, there were words that came out of my mouth I'd never heard. And that whole process to go through that program, through that training, to finally produce a landing page that, in my opinion, wasn't very good anyway, that took me about 12 hours in 2 days. the second time you and I met for a training, you already had pages and you were asking me questions about parts of the page that I've never even heard of. Now, so please don't tell me how hard it was. You had that knocked out of the park in a week.
Well, I mean, it was. I had to dedicate some time, which everybody does. That's how you learn something new. You have to dedicate time.
Exactly.
But I had to go to Elementor on YouTube and learn how to do some stuff in order to navigate.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, once you learn how to do it, though, then it becomes second nature, and you can just keep doing it over and over again. So, and now I've gotten very creative on how to do certain things, although it takes me a little bit longer. but at least I know how to do it now. So it's pretty simple.
So we're talking about TW3 platform. You've talked about a couple of the tools available. What are your favorite tools? What are your go-to things when you're deciding I'm going to go recruit salespeople or I'm going to recruit agents for my brokerage?
Yeah.
What do you go to? Where do you start?
I mean, I use Canva. Like Canva is like the best thing on the face of the planet if you want to create collateral. So that's where I go to create my collateral. And then, building the page is pretty second nature, that and a form. So, I have a couple of very extensive forms, and then I have forms that I've made off of those extensive forms, just, as smaller forms or whatever. And then putting them up is no big deal. You put up a banner, you say, this is what this is about. And, that's kind of it. And linking the pages together. I mean, it took a couple of times for me to figure out how to do it. But once you do it, it's kind of like a motor skill. You just know, you have to do this and you have to do that. But, building a couple of landing pages and utilizing the forms is my biggest thing that I use, TW3 for, because I can recruit for anything off of it.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah. And I can get people interested in anything off of it. I can put videos on there to support whatever I'm saying or whatever I'm trying to do. So it makes it very easy. It's a very plug and play situation, like with the WordPress and I mean, it's just super simple. There's so many widgets there that you can't go wrong unless you're trying to do something that you don't know how to do. And then you call Tom up and be like, hey, how do you make this page scroll without anything moving at the top? I don't know how to do this. Well, you have to create a menu. I'm like, no, create a menu.
It will not allow you to copy money. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't know that. I'm saying. But yes, I agree with you. I've made a ton of landing pages for myself and for other businesses that I work for and with. And I agree with you. It's, I tell the story that I did about going through that step and taking 2 days. Now, generally, once I've sketched out what it is I'm going to do, I can have an ad put together, a landing page put together in about 20 minutes, and a form probably 10 minutes, and boom, boom, ready to go. I've used the voice broadcaster once. It's another one of those deals. You've got to try it a few times to get it right, to get it dialed in. I've used the bulk texter a couple of times, varied results with that. But the cool thing about this, in my opinion, I'm going to ask yours in just a minute.
Okay.
The cool thing about this whole platform, in my opinion, are the number of different things that you can do. If you'll just take the time to learn how to use them.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, we're talking about generating leads, and I'm going to go off script here for just a second. And I alluded to this a little bit ago. Michelle had called me up one day and said, hey, I got a little problem with this. I'm like, no problem. I can't do it right now, but I'll go into your site and I'll see if I can figure it out for you. And me being nosy and trying to make sure that I'm doing a good job as a trainer, I go to her pages, and an ad that she had just put up had like 700 responses. I'm like, she should be teaching me. But that's what happens when you use the stuff. You're not afraid to skin your knees a little bit, not afraid to make a bad ad. Just say, okay, it's a bad ad, move on, make another one.
Yeah.
So my question to you is this. of the whole platform, excuse me, between the tools and the training and the support and the cost, what of all of that made the most sense to you?
Um, that's a hard question because I remember our conversation.
Uh-huh.
And I remember, before I even bought into TW3, like I remember finding out exactly what I could do with it.
Right.
And to me, that made more sense, even though I had to learn how to do this stuff on my own, than paying somebody else to be able, to do it for me.
Right.
And I've learned so much. And, my husband, Eric, he's a great IT person as well. So he's good at marketing. And so
Sure.
he's been fabulous with doing all of our Facebook ads and stuff like that.
Right.
However, like I needed something that I could control on my own,
Right.
I could say, to know that I could produce what I wanted to produce from it. So the support is great. You've always been very good about getting back to me and helping me with whatever I need. The tools that are available on TW3 are amazing because it's exactly what I needed and, wanted to do with it. Sure. The cost at first, I was just like, oh, do I really want to pay that? But then I started thinking about it and I was like, I'd be paying somebody else, and I have paid somebody else $400 a month to do my advertising for me. So, in 3 months you have your system paid for. So I don't know. To me, it was, a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As somebody, again, before I found this system, or this system found me, I don't know exactly how that worked. I was paying for social media, I was paying for advertising, I was paying for design of collateral, all those things.
Yeah.
To be able to do it all myself, and I'm like you. Yeah, I had to learn things that in some cases were uncomfortable because it did not fit in my old man wheelhouse. But once I learned them, now I can sell that knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm not just using it for me anymore. My rule of business has always been the same: help first, profit next.
Sure.
So if I can use this knowledge to help people and show them how to do the same thing, then it's a win-win for everybody. And from the standpoint of cost, I don't know where else you can go to accomplish one of two goals. The first one is to be able to generate leads essentially at will. And my lead cost is less than $1 right now. I'm sure yours is probably less than that.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that and control it, like you said, I decide what goes in there. I decide what's being done. I decide when it's being done. And then from the other standpoint, for somebody who perhaps through this whole coronavirus thing, you've been at home. We already know that. But maybe you don't have a job to go back to. Or maybe you're looking for another way to make money just in case. Or maybe you just want to make money just in case anyway on your own terms. For what it costs to get this platform, I'm telling you, and I'm sure Michelle will back me up on this. There is no possibility of opening up a business for what it costs to buy this platform. None.
Oh, no. with the other two businesses that I have and that I do, like one of them costs us over 50,000 to start.
That's a very familiar number to me. That's what it cost me to set.
I was waiting for the peanut gallery to tell me how much we actually spent on it. And then even my insurance agency, like I pay $30 a lead. And
Ouch.
yeah. And what it cost me to get my license, renew my license, get my E&O insurance, keep that active, and have my my website going, everything else involved in it.
Yeah, it adds up fast.
It's expensive. It's way more than
even our top level. You could not get
Even the most expensive one is TW3. It's a lot more than that. So yeah.
Right. So how did you find out about TW3? And I know the answer, but I'm asking you to share it with everybody else.
I answered an ad, but I answered an ad without really answering an ad because you had all the videos on there. And I don't know why, but I just was like, okay, I'm just going to watch this one video. And then one video turned into 2 videos, which turned into 3 videos. And each one had a little bit of a different draw that I found, interesting.
Sure.
And I mean, that's kind of how it happened. And even the first conversation, you were like, did you watch all the videos? And I was like, yeah. Now I have a lot of questions. So, and I kept you on the phone, I think, the very first time for like over an hour. And I still have the page that I wrote all my questions down that I asked.
Good. That's due diligence. And that brings me to my next question. I would never expect anybody who is watching this or will watch it with the other outlets it goes out to say, hey, sign me up. It sounds good. What was your due diligence? Before you made the decision, I'm sure you had a process.
I did. And only because of the fact that I knew exactly after watching the videos, at first, when I saw the ad, it was like, make money from home doing blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, let's see what this thing says.
I've seen this before.
And I don't know why, but I guess I was bored and I just wanted to watch I watched the first video. And like I said, it just took me through. And then I was like, I'm paying $30 and a lead for insurance. And quite possibly, since Terry came from, his background is insurance.
Right.
He also worked with a bunch of people from real estate before. I was just like, okay, those are 2 companies that I already have, and one of which I pay a lot of money for every lead. So that was kind of what led me into asking all the questions. And so I literally wrote down 2.5 pages of questions to ask you about it. And I went through line by line, every single one of them. You had an answer for every single one of them. And so, that led me to, okay, this is credible and there's some credibility to it. And I want to know a little bit more. And then I had Eric, my husband,
sure,
ask questions too. And we were both sitting there on speakerphone. And, I was like, okay, well, he and I have to talk about it. And then, that was kind of it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, the talk about it thing, that means that they're not doing anything about it. But it really wasn't. It was just, I just wanted to be able to make a very educated decision about what I was spending that amount of money on. So,
yeah. Sure. Well, and honestly, and I've been in sales for a really, really long time. So when somebody says to me, I'm going to talk with my spouse about this, I believe them. And you want to know why? Many, many years ago, I made a decision without consulting with anybody. I brought home a van. And I thought it was a great deal. We have kids, the van, I needed space. And I've never made that mistake again. I did it once. So when somebody tells me that, yes, I know sometimes it can be a reason to get off the phone. I get it. Yeah. Most times it's not. Most times there will be a discussion. And I'm okay with that. So I want to get your advice for people who are watching this, and let's take TW3 out of for just a second. Okay. Let's just talk about somebody who wants to start a business.
Yeah.
What would you say? And again, this is unscripted here, so I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but you've done great so far. What would you say are the 2 things, if they're thinking about considering a business, what are the 2 things that are most important for them to consider and look at themselves about before they jump off the cliff?
Wow. I mean, if you're really considering starting a business, you better have drive, determination, and you better be able to take no in the face a lot, because it happens all the time. And you're always going to have challenges, and you're always going to have people tell you that you can't do something. Mm-hmm. So, I've never been that person that listens to everybody else. I've always just known what I wanted to do, and I've done it. and without regrets. And if I didn't, if I failed at something, I just took it as a learning experience, and it led me to something else. So that's how I always look at things. But when you start a business, like, you just have to, number one, it has to be something that something attracts you to it. So right. You have to know that that's something that you want to pursue or that you want to do. And there's more of a reason to it than just money. Right. There has to be something else behind that, because it's not going to work if it's just money. There has to be something there.
Yep, I agree.
There has to be some sort of why behind starting a business. But if you're looking to start a business, I can tell you that it costs a lot of money generally to start a business. And this is probably one of the least expensive ways to start a business and still have all the support in back office and background and everything else in order to help you to succeed. Mm-hmm. So if you don't succeed at it, you either didn't have a why, or you didn't have the drive or determination. Right. Because there's so many tools in the background that you would be able to use to be able to start your own business. And it's a very easy way to do it. It's not like you have to go to school and spend thousands of dollars and months of education in order to get it up and going. Like, you and I had the conversation, and you're like, well, it took me X amount of time to get this started, but right. You're not very computer literate. And I was like, and I told you in the very beginning, I said, okay, listen, it took me a week and a half to get my insurance license. So I'm very good at school. I'm going to go in there and learn as much as I possibly can, as fast as I could possibly do it. And I did it within like 3 days. I started making my own pages and, putting out ads and getting results from it and talking to people on the phone. So it's to be able to do that in 3 days. And some people can probably do it in a lot less because they're a lot more computer savvy than I was at the time, that I started creating pages and ads and stuff like that. But it's very easy. It's a plug and play.
Sure. Yeah. Quite frankly, you maybe, of all the people I have worked with over the past couple of years doing this, may have been the fastest out of the gate. And here's what I mean by that. Generally, my training program, when somebody comes in and I start working with them, is I have a regular, Zoom type of training once a week with them. That's about 45 minutes. And of course, they have access to me throughout that time, in between that for a phone call, what have you. And I remember our first training, I said, this is what I'd like you to go through. And the very next day, you sent me a text. Hey, I got this page put together. Can you? I'm like, hey, you're not even. I didn't even. No, you're not even supposed to be there yet. So yes, but speaking to that, and the reason I asked you that question, Michelle, quite frankly, is I was on somebody else's show this morning, and they asked me that question, and you answered with one of the same things that I did. And the other one, I'm going to take what you said just a little bit farther. You said, don't listen to what people say. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, because everybody's going to tell you gloom and doom, and, the world's going to fall apart. The economy is going to collapse. In addition to not listening to them, don't listen to your own self. You can talk yourself out of things if you get involved with all the stuff that's going on out there. If you are, I'm not sure, I'm afraid, I'm of this, I'm of that, stop listening to that. Put yourself in your chair, get yourself in front of your computer, and learn how to do what it is you want to do. And don't stop till you've learned it. Whether it takes 3 days or it takes 2 days for one step. Just don't stop. Make a decision to do it.
Yeah.
So what would you say? I'm sorry, do you have something else?
I was just going to say, I have this conversation, and I've been having this conversation with my husband now that he's retiring out of the military, because he's been doing the same thing for 22 years. And I wake up every day. Sorry, what?
I say, and we thank him.
I will tell him that. Um, but I wake up every single morning and I tell myself all of the things that I am going to do and all the things that I am. I am is a very powerful word and or words. And if you do that and you say, I'm going to, help 10 people today, or I'm going to make $1 million, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. I am is a very powerful thing. And if you say it enough, then your brain starts changing. You start knowing that you can accomplish these things. And there, I can tell you that there's nothing that I haven't ever set my mind to that I haven't been able to do.
Sure.
And so that's why I say don't listen to what other people say, and you should tell yourself what to think. So every morning, say these things in the mirror and tell yourself that you're worthy, you're worth something, that you can do this and you can, and it actually does happen for you. And I know there's a lot of people that, oh yeah, okay, whatever, but it is. And words have power. And if you let the words be negative, then that's exactly what's going to come inside of you. So you need to be positive about, your words and what you say about yourself and what you're going to do, because it's a very powerful thing. Yeah.
Very, and point well said. And I'll give everybody the simplest example on the planet of just that. What do you mean, Tom? Whenever I encounter somebody that says, well, I can't do this, whether it be this business or anything else, I can't do this, Tom. Let me ask you a question. Can you ride a bike? Yeah, what does that have to do with anything? How did you get to ride a bike? Did you get on it, fall down, get back up, get on it, fall back down? Yes. Because you were determined to ride the bike, right? Because all the other cool kids would ride a bike. Why wouldn't you ride a bike? What's the difference here? And to me, that's as simple as it can be broken down. If you want to do something, you can do it. You'll find a way to do it, or you'll find a way to make an excuse.
I saw this on Facebook the other day. A crackhead doesn't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I don't have any money, so I'm not going to get high today. And I know that it's not like a great thing, but it's like,
it's determination.
When there's a will, there's a way. They're just going to do it. So
you're right. And that's true of anything. Yep. Good, bad, or otherwise. That is the truth. So let's say, and I know you have some people that you talk to occasionally about this that might be interested in TW3. So what would you say to somebody who is looking at it, either seeing it for the first time, or maybe they just got started? What would you recommend to them? What would your advice be?
Well, first I would ask them, why they're looking to start with TW3, whether it's to help their own business or whether it's to resell the platform. And depending on what their answer is, I would try to take them through an example of what I did and what other people do. And I would also, lead them to the videos that are available for them to watch, so that they can get an idea of how the platform is used and how people find success with it, to see if that's, what they're looking for. But I can tell you that, when I advertise TW3 in order to resell the platform, a lot of people that were responding to my ad had similar backgrounds to me. And so it was very easy to relate to them and talk to them about, why they wanted to do it and how they want to do it, and, give them examples of how I was using it. And that allowed them to, be able to say, oh, this seems like a really great, platform to be able to utilize, especially if you're having success doing, what you're doing with it. So.
And that's the thing that I found in the, closing in on 2 years I've been doing this. I couldn't tell you, I've talked to thousands of people in the last couple of years about just, and when I look at my book of business, the people that I'm working with that have trusted me to help them learn this process, the vast majority of them are people like me. A lot of them are in the same age group as me. And I think
Mhm.
like always attracts like. Um, very rarely am I going to run across somebody with no business acumen at all. Um, and perhaps not as much drive as some other people, that it ever works. It's almost a babysitting position at that point, and I will turn those down every time. The money's not important to me at that point. But
Yeah.
that's what I find. I work far more with people that are business owners. They're looking to add this to their toolbox, and I talk to people that are close to or have retired that are looking to do their own thing because they're tired of playing golf and fishing, and they're retired professional people. So, what other things can you tell us about your business? And here's why I'm asking this. We get a lot of people that watch this. This is going to be replayed a little bit. This will be replayed tomorrow. This will hit YouTube tomorrow as well. It'll go out on my blog post for TW3. I'll send you a link. You can put it on yours as well. But say people that want to talk with you, whether it be for real estate or insurance, or they want you to coach them because they like your they would match up with you teaching them how to do this. So tell us about the businesses, what you're doing, what you are looking for, if anything, and then if you would, and I'll get this up later, send me an email with contact information so people can get a hold of you.
Okay. Well, I'll take the relief funding agent right now because that's the most relevant of what I am recruiting for. So if someone is looking to help businesses get business loans, I'm a part of 11 Capital Finance, who has a separate division that is, relief funding agents. And so if they're interested in doing that and making, money closing loans for business.
So let me see if I got this right.
Mhm.
And I know about this, but I want to play this up a little bit. So
Okay.
you're telling me that
Mhm.
somebody can make money
Yeah.
helping businesses during this time get money.
Yeah.
And 100% of businesses right now are looking for money.
Yeah.
So it would be a fair assessment to say that somebody who wanted to work on your team would have no shortage of places and people to talk to.
No, it's as simple as going down the street to, your favorite restaurant or your favorite, place to go get your haircut or whatever and talk to them and find out, what they're looking to do. Now, some businesses are a little easier than others in order to get funding, depending on what they're looking to get funded for.
But your
However,
program trains them as to what to look for.
and we can tell them, or train them which businesses, are having the highest rates of loans closed right now and the percentages and things like that. Yes, and we offer about 9 different products. So it's not like it's a one size fits all either.
Sure.
And there's a lot of training on the back end. They do conference calls twice a day, every day. So, the support end of that side of it, there's no lack of support. They have a lot of support on that end. And then I host Zoom meetings once a week. So I help all of my recruits by going through asking, answering questions and things like that. For the insurance side of things, we're still, doing different types of insurance. What we're focusing on right now is the debt-free life portion, which is getting people out of debt in 9 years or less, including their mortgage. And also student loan debt. So if anybody's interested in that, we use an insurance product that helps people not only be covered just in case something does happen to them, but it's also a interest-bearing policy. So you earn interest, cash value, and you're able to use that cash value in order to pay off your bills. And we have a systematic way of doing it. So that's what we're concentrating on the most with the insurance portion of things.
Okay.
With the real estate, because we just moved to South Carolina, we are, if anybody's in South Carolina, we are looking for some buy and holds right now. So we're not necessarily looking to fix and flips because we aren't sure what the market's going to do. But we are definitely looking for some buy and holds. So if anybody, has any contacts, or if they are realtors, or if they're lenders, please feel free to reach out. We love to, have our database grow. Or if anybody's interested in buying real estate in the Charleston area, reach out to us, and we can definitely, hook you up with some things out here.
Very nice. I want to say hi to folks who have joined us here. The guy running the board here, this idiot, had the chat on the wrong side, and I did not know who has joined us. So let me say hi to a couple of you guys right now. Nicholas Misikowski, good to see you here, my friend. Second time this week. He is actually on our other show, not done yet, on Tuesday. Had a great conversation with him. Phil Nocerino. Phil, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. And Gary Hackney, I saw on Facebook you got that ND look today. Congratulations. Happy to hear that. So you're going to send me out some contact information. But if you would, tell people how they can get in contact with you. I don't know if you want to give them 3 different business numbers, or just give them one way to get a hold of you. You take it from there.
Yeah. You can get a hold of me at Michelle@fundmoredeals.com. That's the easiest one to remember. It's Fund More Deals. That's what I like to do, is fund deals all day, every day. So Michelle at fundmoredeals.com.
I have just actually typed that in, and there it is. It is on chat right now. So there it is, guys. Look for it right there. So we've got about 13, 14 minutes left.
Okay.
What other things can we talk about that get you up and moving in the morning?
Coffee.
There you go. I am a guy with a cup of coffee at 4:20 in the morning every morning.
See, you get up really early in the morning. You get a lot of stuff done. Trying to tell me that you're watching Netflix all day. You are not, ever.
I'm going to take a break here from this real quick, Michelle. I told everybody who was listening last week yet. I've got this on the wrong page too. Alrighty then, let's fix that. And I can't change it now. All right. I told everybody who was listening last week I was going to get some of Terry Wilson's book, You Are Worth More, and I did. As you recall, he was on this show 3 weeks ago. Anybody who wants this book, I will send it out to you. Just tap in the chat that you'd like one, and give me your email or phone number, and I'll call you, and you tell me where to send it. I've got about a half a dozen of these. Michelle, I don't know if you have one yet.
One. I'll take one. Sorry. It'll be a nice housewarming gift for me.
I have 5 copies left now, folks. All right, very good. So what do you look at? What do you look for down the road with your business, with how you see that the platform that you have, how it will help you achieve those goals down the road? What's the big picture look like for you?
Well, I mean, I never stop recruiting. So recruiting is always going to be a really big thing for me. I know that the platform has changed a little bit on the back end. So I think getting in there and really seeing how some of the things have changed, especially with what you were telling me with the CRM system. I'm definitely very interested in that because I like you had an AWeber account where I was sending out all of my emails and stuff, follow-ups, and to any of the, leads that I have right now. And like you said, I have a lot of leads. And
Yes,
so
you do.
be a little bit more diligent about making sure that I'm reaching out to them. So if it's not, for relief funding agent, then maybe it's they're interested in reselling the TW3 platform. So I think what I'm going to do is just get in there and start, trying to monetize some of these leads that I have, because I have so many of them.
Right.
And just because one thing doesn't fit into someone's wheelhouse, it doesn't mean that something else doesn't fit into their wheelhouse. So they may not be all about wanting to go out and help a bunch of businesses and make a lot of money, although you can make a lot of money doing this, I can tell you. But maybe it's just not their dream to wake up in the morning and do that type of business, because it is a lot of being on the phone and a lot of talking to people and a lot of knowing about the different products, and being able to explain to them. So I get that. But maybe reselling TW3 is something that they're interested in doing, because it's just one product, and you can literally take someone through your back office and show them exactly what they can do and how they can do it, and make a lot of money doing it that way too. You don't have to sell very many of them to have a great day or have a great week. So
Right.
And especially these people that are maybe not making as much money as they were making before, or they're not making any money,
Yep.
it might be a good opportunity for them. But for the insurance side of things, like I said, I just want to get in there and look around and see what's happening with it, because we are starting to do a lot of marketing for the Debt Free Life program. We're inviting a lot of people to come to a hosted event from
Okay.
one of the companies that we partnered with in order to do that. And that's happening Tuesday night. So if anybody's interested in learning how to get out of debt in 9 years or less, hit me up and I'll be glad to share the link with you. So, it'd be another thing to use the system in order to advertise, especially on Facebook, to drive people to that webinar that we're going to have on Tuesday night. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, again, we're kind of closing out of time here.
Okay.
I'll need you to. Well, don't go nowhere yet. We're not done yet. Um, and I just realized as I'm looking at this, I'm like, a lot of my regular crew is not here, and I'm looking up, and I did not change the page I was transmitting to from Tuesday when I was on Not Done Yet. So anyway, we'll fix that, get that fixed up. I'll need you to send me an email. And I'm also going to need the address where you want me to send your book. I want to
Okay.
thank you for being on the show. And thank you for, again, allowing me to help teach you how to use this system. You've been an exemplary student. Um, and I want to congratulate you on your move.
Thank you very much. And again, I feel very honored that you even asked me to do it. And I was happy to be on here with you, and hopefully it added some value to what you're trying to do, and get some of this across to people that may need to hear it from somebody else. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Although Tom's a great mentor and teacher, and like I said, he was very supportive, and anything that I ever asked him, he always responded back very quickly, even as frustrated as I was a couple of times because I didn't know how to do whatever. He was very patient with me and answered every question. So
Well, in the final analysis, I'm here to help. That's what I do. But the bottom line is you did the work that you had to do. I couldn't do it for you, and you did well. So again, I want to thank you for being here. The honor was ours. I actually, this worked out so well because I know what you're doing with the system. And this is something we hadn't addressed in previous interviews or shows. So for that, I thank you. You are probably going to get people reaching out to you. I certainly hope so. And in the meantime, we are about done here.
Right.
And I will get a link out to you on this probably first thing in the morning. You won't be waiting.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Michelle, thank you. Everybody who checked in with us, thank you. We appreciate it. Anybody who wants to get one of these, You Are Worth More Books, I always forget how to get this in front of the camera. There we go.
There
Let
you
me know
go.
you tell me where to send it. Don't tell me where to send me. Tell me where to send the book. Folks, thanks for joining us on Our 2 Cents. We will see you next week. Michelle, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Everybody.